Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a tips and tricks video for Dying Light 2 on how to play co-op with your friends, including various different tips on how to get the most out of playing with your friends. Now, one of the things worth noting is that you need to complete the tutorial section, which is quite long, and all your friends need to do it before they can join you. So make sure that they've played through and got access to the main city area before you try and invite them, because they won't be able to join you beforehand, and that is quite frustrating when that happens, and then you end up spending ages waiting for them to complete that section. Unfortunately, you can't skip it, you have to play it, so it's worth bearing in mind. The next thing to also bear in mind is that when they do join you, you will suddenly find that there's VoIP on. Now, on PC, this is really annoying. If you're like me and you're using Discord, you don't also want audio coming through the game because it's not as good quality. Don't worry though, because you can turn it off. So if you go into the controls, go into the online section, you'll find there's a voice chat that you can just turn off there. Your friends can do it too. You get a much better quality of sound out of Discord. Another tip that you might have noted there, if you're not aware already, if you jump off a large building, try and land on mattresses or on the roofs of cars or vans, and you will take far less damage. Now, my next tip is dropping gear. You can drop your gear for your teammates to play with, and this is great if you started a game and you've been playing for a while. As you can see, I'm level 3 right now. I've got level 3 gear. But my friend Sir Henry Deadman, who's just joined me, it's level 1. I can drop all the level 3 gear that I'm not using that he'll find useful, including all the various different clothing items that I've been hoarding. So I could sell these at a trader, but obviously giving them to him is more beneficial, and he gets to use them despite being level 1, so he gets the benefits of those. And that logic applies to both clothing and weapons. It's also worth giving your friends med kits and things like the immunity boosters as well. That will mean that they obviously don't have the problem of turning into a zombie halfway through playing with you, which would obviously be annoying and a bit of an issue. Now, another thing to do is to pull out your binoculars and find those sweet areas like the GRE zones where you got your inhibitors from. Obviously, if someone's brand new to a co-op game and you've had a little experience already, what you want to do as the first thing you do, and even if you're starting out playing together or both at level 1, is to visit the GRE anomaly areas and get those inhibitors. Getting your inhibitors means that you can boost your stamina so that everyone's able to climb a lot further, fight a lot more zombies, and just survive for longer. Now, I've done a video on how to find inhibitors that I'll link to in the description. They are scattered throughout the area, but what you'll find is if you've already completed these areas, you can still go back to them with your friends and do them again. You won't get the inhibitors again, obviously, because you can't duplicate them this way, but this is a good way for you to get extra loot and also to help your friends boost up. So in this example, we've gone to this GRE building. This building has 3 inhibitors in it, so that's obviously a quick boost to their abilities, and will give you the bonus of all the extra loot that's in here, as well as the combat points from fighting the zombies. One important point of note is not to ignore that warning about not going in there at daytime though. It says to come back at night, and that's for a good reason. And obviously, because I'm level 4 now, I'm fighting level 4 zombies, but my friends are still only level 1, so that means I'm basically on my own. Also, you have a lot more hardcore zombies in there at daytime, and they will destroy you. You can see how I got killed in like 2 hits by that zombie. So go at night time and you'll find it's a lot easier to get through those sections, especially with low level friends. Another thing we found is that some of the buildings you can go in from the wrong end, so you meant to go in from the top end of this building and work your way down. We found that you could, once you've done that, you could then go back in the exit and get the last one. So our friend had managed to miss one of the inhibitors on the last bit of the area. We found that we could go in back in the exit and then quickly grab the crystals and the inhibitors and the other loot from that section. And because it's right next to a safe zone, even though we're in danger because it's during the daytime, we can just quickly nip back out. Although, as you can see, my friends managed to get killed by the more intense zombies that are in there. But it's an option, and obviously the extra loot is a real draw for going back through these, and it's nice that you can replay these things. So even if you've done something, you can replay it and do it over again. The same logic also applies to the GRE anomaly zones, so it's worth bearing that in mind as well, that you can go back to the GRE anomaly areas. Another thing to focus on is making sure that you're doing these missions in stealth. One of the tips that you probably picked up on while playing, or if you haven't already, is that doing these areas in a stealth way, as in sneaking around and using takedown maneuvers on the zombies, is a much better way of saving your weapons. You'll find a lot less wear and tear on your weapons over time. I've done a video separately on how to repair your weapons, which essentially requires your weapons to be modifiable, and then you can apply mods to them that will then increase the durability of them and essentially repair them temporarily. They will eventually break over time though, so you are better off sneaking around and taking down the zombies by sneaking up on them when they're asleep and just murdering them. You still get the combat points, and because it's nighttime you're getting that combat bonus as well. But as you can see, there's loads of different areas in here that you can loot really easily. Once again, these zombies are a higher level than your friends, so if they set off a rampage where you're suddenly fighting loads of zombies, it'll be a problem for them more than it will be for you. Although if you're all on the same level, this won't be an issue. But it's nice to know that you can revisit these sections and get loads of extra loot with ease. One of the things to watch out for, as well as the inhibitors, is those sweet crystal areas. So you'll find sections within here where you have the chemical areas. If you go into the corner there, you'll find that there is a little mound. Often you can see this with your survivor sense. Punch your way through that and you can get crystals. These are worth having because they sell for a good value, and then you can use that to buy other gear as well. So pay attention to that. Everybody can get that, and that's the good thing, is that the loot isn't just yours and no one else's. Everybody can loot and get access to all this different loot drops, and it's also procedurally generated, so you won't get the same things necessarily, but it's worth knowing. The next thing that is worth knowing, that is a nightmare if you're not careful, is that if you don't have a chase event at night and you are fine and safe and dandy, but one of your friends does have one, if they get in the proximity of you, they will bring the chase to you as well, and suddenly you're involved in it now, even when you didn't alert a horde and you didn't set off any howlers, and you've done really well in terms of parkouring over buildings. Now, chase events are really good because you get bonus points. You can see you get a nighttime bonus for it here, but my friend Sir Henry Deadman has just run past me with a chase on. Now suddenly I've got zombies chasing me as well, and I didn't really want that just then because I was just relaxing, and now I'm in a panic trying to get away from the zombies. Luckily I was right next to one of the UV areas, and these safe zones are excellent ways to boost your immunity back up. So if you're running around from zone to zone, jump into a UV area and that will reset your immunity and make sure that your level's back up to the top. It will stop the counter from counting down, and that's worth knowing as well. Another thing that you will notice appearing in the top right corner of the screen there was the ability to make friends fast travel. So if you found that you've got to a certain section of the game and your friends can't get there because, let's say, their stamina is not quite good enough, or they're just struggling with it, or you want to bring people to you, you'll see that a safe zone, for example, there, I can press and hold P and it'll teleport my friends to that location. That means you can progress on with the game, but it also helps them because it stops them having to go through that climbing bit. So if there's a particularly difficult climbing bit that you can do and other people can't, you can teleport them to your location, and then you can jump over and get that sweet military airdrop loot here. So you can see that I've got airdrop loot, and those airdrop sections are well worth finding, and again ensuring that all your friends get them as well, because you get the technical gear out of those that you can then use to upgrade things like your paraglider in future, so it's well worth doing. Once again, you can see jumping on the roof of a car is a good way to save your own life and stop from dying. My friends hit the ground hard there and took a lot of damage. This has been the Provoked Prawn. I hope you found this video useful. Be sure to check out the links in the description to other tips and tricks videos I've done on Dying Light 2, and I plan on doing a few more in the future. Thanks for watching.